Buenos días. Es el viernes y son las 12. Hello, everyone. It's Friday and it's 12 o'clock, so it's time for Community Spanish, broadcasting every week on Wednesdays and Fridays at 12. In addition to Community Spanish, we also have Community Mandarin on Mondays and Thursdays at 12:30 p.m. and Community French on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 8:30. So there's lots to check out in terms of the community programming. In addition to the adult program, we also do have kids French bedtime stories from starting in February, starting Tuesday through Thursday at 8 p.m. Right now in the Monday schedule, still going through Monday through Wednesday, but that schedule is going to be shifting a little bit soon. In addition to all the things we have going on Facebook, we also have Instagram Live going for Portuguese every week. So there's even more content to check out on our Instagram as well as the Facebook. Or maybe you're watching us live on YouTube as well. So one quick reminder before we get into today's topic, which is just that the next class schedules are posted and for February. So if you're looking to get into a class, now is the perfect time to look for the right option and make sure you can get your spot reserved in the class you'd like to join, as classes are starting up in general about 1.5 to 2 weeks, depending on the class. So it's a great time to get in touch. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out either by email or phone either through our website, or you can contact us directly at info@rolalanguages.com. So without further ado, let's get into our topic for today as we continue with our Repaso or review series. So what we're going to be doing today actually is a translation exercise. And we have done several translations before, but usually it's been kind of like a one sentence thing that we're doing, like just independent sentences, translating one sentence into Spanish or into English. But this one's actually a paragraph translation. So we're going to be translating essentially a short story, and it's going to help us bring together our vocabulary, our grammar, especially as we've been studying the Presente Progresivo over the past few lessons. So we have that sprinkled in here too. So there is a lot to work on. So we're going to be doing this together. And as always, I encourage you to participate and in as much as you feel comfortable, and to join me in the comments below. So escribe tus respuestas en los comentarios abajo. So whether you're watching on Facebook or watching on YouTube, you're welcome to put your own answers in the comments below, and we can see how you're doing and see if if this translation is coming out well for you, if it's difficult, and kind of help you along, even though I'm not there with you in person right now. So let's see, and we're going to go sentence by sentence and putting together all of the skills that we've been working on. So we have for the first sentence, my name is Francisca. So starting nice and easy with this short translation. So my name is Francisca. So we can say either me llamo Francisca or mi nombre es Francisca. So two different options there. So starting with that one, and if you're feeling like maybe any of these topics are kind of going a little bit too fast for you, as I said, this is a review video. So if you want to check out any of the original videos I made on any of these topics, you're welcome to go to the Rola Languages website and to the Facebook Live page, where we have all of the videos uploaded that we've made over the course of this, working from home time. So there's tons and tons of material up there that you can access if you want to check that out before you come back here for the review of those things. So starting with the first part, so again, me llamo Francisco or mi nombre es Francisca. So I'm going to be putting this in the comments as well, so you can follow along and have a written copy. So me llamo Francisco o mi nombre es Francisca. Okay, for my name is Francisca. Now, I'm 36 years old and I'm a teacher at a culinary school. So I'm 36 years old. Here's where we need to bring in our knowledge about how to express age in Spanish, which we have learned in the past when we learned expressions with tener, the verb to have. So in English, we say I am. We say I am a certain age, but in Spanish, we say that we have a certain number of years. So with this one, so we're going to say yo tengo 36. Yo tengo 36 años. So that's the first element in this sentence. Yo tengo 36 años. And then we need to add in the second half of the sentence, which is about I am a teacher at a culinary school. So yo tengo 36 años Y. And so now speaking about professions, again, we're touching on a lot of different lessons that we've used over the course of our time together. So here, talking about professions, we know that the verb goes with professions. It should be ser rather than estar. It's true that in general, estar is used for things that change and our job can change, but generally speaking, usually we're kind of in a certain field for a long time, so we're more likely to use ser with the position. So in this case, we're going to use the form of ser that goes with I, which is going to be yo soy, okay? So yo tengo 36 años y yo soy teacher, okay? So either profesor or profesora, going back to our professions vocabulary, which again, if you need a little review on that, it's all up on that page of the website. You can see the video I did introducing the different professions. So yo soy profesor or yo soy profesora. And then at a culinary school. En una escuela culinaria. So all together, por favor, repita conmigo. Yo tengo 36 años y yo soy profesor o yo soy profesora en una escuela culinaria. Okay, next sentence. I love to cook everything. So it's the first part. I love to cook everything. And so we've definitely spent some time talking about me gusta, which is I like, but we're going to bring this up just another notch to say I love this. So we're going to use me encanta. Me encanta. And then keeping in mind, as it relates to the lesson we did on gustar, about how we choose between gusta and gustan, or in this case, encantan or encantan, how do we know which one to use? So again, what we're choosing, this verb has to coordinate with the object that it describes. So in this case, we're talking about cooking. So when we have either a verb like to cook, or we have a singular thing, we should use the singular like gusta or encanta. But if we're describing something that's plural, then we should use gustan or encantan. So for example, if you said I love puppies, we'd say me encantan los cachorros. And we're describing the thing that we love. So again, these verbs like encantar and gustar are working a little differently than our regular verbs. And we definitely spent a lot of time on that together. So again, feel free to check out any of those previous videos if you need a little bit of a kind of refresher on how encantar and gustar work. So in this case, we have an infinitive verb to cook. So we're going to use the singular encanta and then our infinitive. So me encanta cocinar, and then everything, todo. But I like to prepare cakes and sweet things especially. And now we're coming with I like, which we just talked about as me gusta or me gustan. And then just like we had in the previous clause, the to prepare is an infinitive. So we know we should use the singular gusta rather than gustan, because we talked about when it's with a verb, infinitive verb or a singular thing, we should use singular. So here, me gusta, and to prepare, preparar, digging into that verb vocabulary, cakes and sweet things especially. So cakes, lots of different words for the word cake in Spanish, but I think a good solid one to go with is pastel. In this case, cakes, plural. So we practice our pluralizing, where because pastel ends with a consonant, we need to add es, so not just an s, but es. So me gusta preparar pasteles. And then sweet things, cosas dulces, especially, especialmente. Here we're going into our adverbs. So, all together, vamos a repetir. Me encanta cocinar todo, pero me gusta preparar pasteles y cosas dulces, especialmente. Okay, excellent. I know this is kind of a tough work here as we're bringing in our skills from really every area to make this translation. Okay, next one. I'm a vegetarian, but this week I'm teaching how to cook a really good chicken. Okay, so as before, we're going to split the sentence up so it's not doing all of it at once. Starting with I'm a vegetarian. Again, this most likely is kind of we can say this is a personality description, so we're going to use ser instead of estar. So yo soy, and then vegetarian, little bit of vocab in here, vegetariano or vegetariana. Okay, but this week, pero, and then this week from our time vocabulary, esta semana, I'm teaching how to cook a really good chicken. So here I'm teaching. Here's where the presente progresivo comes in that I mentioned that we've been practicing most recently. So I'm teaching. So if you first think about as we know, there's two parts to the presente progresivo. There's the form of estar, and then there's our participio presente, which is going to end in either ando or yendo. So in this case, we're starting with form of estar, goes with I or yo, so it's estoy, pero yo estoy, and then we need to form that participio presente. So to teach, we have to know this verb vocabulary is enseñar. Enseñar, we can hear from that as an AR verb. So it means this one's going to take the ando ending, as all of the AR verbs do. So in this case, we get altogether, yo estoy enseñando, okay, how to cook a really good chicken. Estoy enseñando. And then we kind of have the option to add como, but in general, in Spanish, when we don't necessarily need to add the how to as much as we add it in English. So you could say estoy enseñando cocinar, okay? Or in this case, we could add como, but I think it sounds more natural in Spanish to not. So it's just kind of a little bit simpler. So yo estoy enseñando cocinar, to cook, okay? A really good chicken. A really good chicken. Un pollo, chicken, muy bueno. Okay, so all together we have, quiero que repitan, yo soy vegetariano, pero esta semana yo estoy enseñando cocinar un pollo muy bueno. Excelente. All right, now we get a little bit of a break with the next sentence. I'm a really good cook. Nice short sentence. I'm a really good cook. Again, because we're talking about something that's permanent for you, that you are a good cook, we're going to use ser, okay? So, yo soy, and then a really good cook. Here's where we need the vocab word of cook from our professions vocab. So, cook is either cocinero or cocinera, again, depending on who you're describing. So, same like we did for a really good chicken, we're going to say like a really good cook. So, yo soy cocinero muy bueno or cocinera muy buena. So again, we have the option, depending on who we're describing, to put, to make it masculine or feminine. So yo soy cocinero muy bueno or yo soy cocinera muy buena, keeping in mind, as we learned with our professions vocabulary, that in Spanish, actually, we don't put the un or una in front of the profession. So in English, we say like, I am a teacher or I am a lawyer, but in Spanish, we do not put this. So just keeping in mind this little trick that we learned when we worked on the professions vocabulary. So yo soy cocinero muy bueno. Okay, one of my students is sleeping right now while I am speaking. Here's extra practice with the presente progresivo. One of my students is sleeping right now. So uno or una de mis estudiantes, and then is sleeping. So here's where we're going to practice again with the presente progresivo. So if you think about, so the verb for to sleep, again, hopefully remember that from the verb vocabulary, is dormir, dormir, okay? But first, with the presente progresivo, we need our form of estar that's going with this person. So we're saying uno de mis estudiantes. It's like saying él or ella, right? One of my students, he. One of my students, she. So we're going to keep that in mind as we choose the form of estar. So it's going to be está. Uno de mis estudiantes está. And then we need our participo presente with dormir. Now this one is a little extra tricky because dormir gets a little irregular in the presente progresivo in its participio, which is does not happen for a lot of verbs, but in this case, this one is irregular. So what's going to happen is that while it is dormir in the infinitive, we are of course going to make the change to the end to add yendo, which we would do for any verb, but we're going to go one extra step, and dormir actually in its participio presente is durmiendo with a U, with an U. So uno de mis estudiantes está durmiendo, and then right now, ahora mismo, a little bit of more of our time vocab. Okay, while I'm speaking. While is mientras. Okay, and then here we have our next presente progresivo verb, I'm speaking. So again, we're going to need the form of estar going with I, yo. So estoy. And this one of our most basic verbs to speak, to talk, hablar. Okay, so as we can hear from the ending, is an AR, hablar. So we're going to choose the ending of ando for its participio. So all together, si quieren repetir conmigo, uno de mis estudiantes está durmiendo ahora mismo mientras estoy hablando. Okay, muy bien. On to the next sentence. We're getting towards the end. All the class has to follow the recipe. All the class has to follow the recipe. All the class, toda la clase, because it's la clase feminine, so we should choose toda. Okay, feminine and singular, toda la clase. Okay, has to follow. Here's where our use of the tener que and infinitive. Another thing we studied when we learned tener is about the structure to talk about how to say you have to do something. So in this case, we're going to take a form of tener, then the word que, and then the infinitive of the verb. So in this case, we are saying all the class. So the form of tener that's going to go with all the class, like saying it or he or she, is going to be tiene. Toda la clase tiene, and then again following our three-part structure of tener, que, and infinitive. So after tiene, it's going to be coming que. And finally, our verb, which is to follow, which is in Spanish is seguir. So toda la clase tiene que seguir, and then the recipe, la receta. Okay, so vamos a repetir. Let's repeat this part. Another chunk we've accomplished here. Toda la clase tiene que seguir la receta. Muy bien. Okay. One last big sentence, and then we have just a couple quick little words to finish up. So the water is boiling, and everyone is laughing about that. The water is boiling. So here's again more presente progresivo practice. So the water, el agua, okay, is boiling. So here's where we're going to be doing another verb like dormir that has a small change in the stem in presente, in this participio presente. So we have to pay a little bit of attention here. So el agua, and then we're going to choose the form está, because el agua is like saying the he or she or it form. So agua está. And then for boiling, so the verb to boil, little obscure, maybe you don't know this word, is hervir. Now, just like we had a small change with dormir to be durmiendo, we're going to have a small change with hervir to be hirviendo. So the E is going to change to E. El agua está hirviendo, and everyone is laughing about that. Everyone is laughing. Y todo el mundo, or todos, if you want to say, todo el mundo, okay, is laughing. So the verb to laugh is reírse. It is a reflexive, which we've also studied. So so in this case, we need to make that work with todo el mundo. So if we put aside the reflexive bit for a second, just work with it like reír. So again, first we need our form of estar, and then we're going to make our participio presente. So we have, because it's todo el mundo, it's like the everyone, which in English too is singular. So it's like saying everyone is, not everyone are. So todo el mundo está. Okay, and then the verb reír is also making a little change in its participio presente. One of the themes, obviously, of this translation is the irregulars. So so this is going to be, instead of riendo, it is riendo. And then we have one last element to work in, which is that reflexive bit. So in this case, it's going to be se, and that should go in front of the verb, just like in any verb tense that we've worked with before. The se goes in front. So todo el mundo se está riendo. And then about that, de eso. Okay. Really putting all of our skills to the test here. El agua está hirviendo. Y todo el mundo se está riendo de eso. Okay, last bit. Oh my, they are kids. Dios mío. Then they are kids. Nice and simple to finish this up. They are kids. So here we're using, again, with the verb ser, because it's something that's fairly permanent. So in describing the kids, we're going to, like saying the ellos form, they are kids. So we're going to choose son, okay? And then to finish up with the vocabulary of kids. So we get, Dios mío, son niños. Dios mío, son niños. Muy bien. Whew, I know this one was a lot of mental exercise because we had to put together so many elements that we've been learning, but hopefully you found it very helpful to kind of put all your skills in one place, because while most of our exercises are very targeted at studying one thing, sometimes it's really, really helpful to see how you can put all of these elements together. So I hope you found that very helpful and mentally strenuous, but in a good way. So that's all for today. I'll see you next at the next Community Spanish on Wednesday at 12 next week. Gracias y adiós.